All right, I had a few questions about how I achieve a highly polished look on a cast iron plane, body, cheek, sole, or lever cap. And so I thought I'd put together a quick video just to show you what I do. I restore planes to factory condition or better. Your tools, your rules, however you like your planes restored, but this is for people that want to achieve a mirror-like polish. Got your basic bench grinder with a fine brass wheel, stainless steel. Fine stainless steel wheels are better because brass is really just brass coated steel. Stainless steel is a little bit softer, but you won't harm your plane with a wire wheel in a bench grinder. A lot of people will tell you otherwise, but they haven't really tried and haven't really fooled around with it. I have put a wire wheel to one of my scrap plane bodies over here and just stuffed it into the thinnest part right here on the cheek, jammed that in for maybe a minute, minute and a half until the bench grinder was overheating, and you couldn't tell that I had done anything to the cast iron. So folks will tell you, oh, I can always tell when something's been wire wheeled. I don't know, maybe somebody's using a really coarse wire wheel or something and leave some marks, but you can't tell. So unless you're just not paying any attention at all, you will not harm your plane. So, and then for the polishing, that's to remove the rust. Polishing, I use a PowerTech, whatever brand you want. This is a bench buffer, runs at a different RPM than a grinder, has full access to the linen or muslin polishing wheels on each end. So that's the tool you want. You want a pair of leather gloves when you're polishing the metal because it will get very hot. It'll get upwards of 200, 300 degrees and burn you before you know it. That's the voice of experience. So wear leather gloves when polishing. Do not wear leather gloves when you're using a wire wheel. A wire wheel won't really hurt you. If you get your finger up against it or your thumb up against it while you're working, you'll pull your hand away. You'll have no injury whatsoever. But it will grab a leather glove and pull you into it and trap you in there and now start to abrade away flesh. So I don't think it's a good idea to wear gloves when you're using a wire wheel, unless you're just using maybe thin vinyl gloves to keep your hands clean, something that'll shred, but you definitely want them on the buffer. On the buffer, I use Lexi brand polishing compounds. They're bars, Luxi if you can read it on there. These are non-silica based polishes. A lot of the polishes out there use silica, fine silica as the polishing agent, and that is very dangerous to breathe in, causes silicosis. So polishing with those needs to be done in a hood, or you need to wear a respirator and, evacuate the area. So I recommend these. These are non-silica based, so they're not a problem. They're available online from Rio Grande Jeweler Supply in New Mexico. Rio Grande Jeweler Supply, great source for this polishing compound. I generally work with the navy or dark blue, the red rouge, which you can finish with that and have a beautiful surface. If you want to go really crazy, you can go to the white, which is really a low-speed compound used for polishing platinum, but it works fine on the high-speed wheel for polishing cast iron. But really, the navy and the red rouge will take you as far as you need to go. Polishing compounds are classified by color. That is a descriptor of the grit in the polishing compound. I can't tell you what that corresponds to in microns, but it's a pretty standard in the polishing industry. So, a red rouge is all pretty much the same, and navy is all pretty much the same between brands. But be mindful of the brand you're using because you don't want to end up with a lot of silica flying around in your shop. So, right, we've got a busted up lever cap. This just happened to be the only one I had in the shop right now. This has been broken and welded, so we can do whatever we want to it because it's a bit of a mess. But it's got, a little bit of pitting, some rust, some patina. For those of you who want to keep patina, just stop watching now because there'll be no patina left on this when we're done. So we're going to polish this up to try to make it look like it's chromed or nickel plated. Will require maintenance. Polished cast iron does not stay polished on its own. So you've got to keep a rust protectant on it and take care of it. Otherwise it will rust. Unlike patina, which can protect against some rust in keeping a relatively dry environment. or nickel plating and chrome, obviously a big advantage. But so let me get some other safety equipment here. When you're using a wire wheel, you absolutely have to be wearing safety glasses, or I wear a full face shield because I have had those little pieces of wire hit right underneath my safety glasses, almost in the eye. Sometimes I'll wear safety glasses and the shield because my safety glasses are bifocals. And yes, I'm that old. So I'm not wearing my bifocals, so I may tell you that this polishing went really well, and you might see otherwise. So we'll find out. All right, hopefully this will work. This vibration of these tools sometimes throws off these iPhone cameras. So we're gonna take the rust off of this first, and just for fun, I'm gonna put that grinding wheel, that wire wheel up against the side of this and just beat the tar out of it and show you that it really doesn't do any damage. So let's start with making sure we're plugged in, and we'll clean this off. Did not take time to anchor my pinch grinder down. So. So, rust, patina, all gone. We're back to basic cast iron. You can see some shading from the direction of the wire wheel, but that is not material removal. But anyways, let me abuse this and do something really stupid. We'll do it right up here near the pin of the wire. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it right here. Right underneath the lever itself, above the well, below the pin, and we'll see if we can damage this. Okay, I was pushing on that with all the strength I have in that hand. And let's see, we'll polish that up and see what it looks like when we're done. Let me feather it out a little bit. And again, you'd have to be a complete fool to do what I just did. I mean, I put it in one place, I pushed as hard as I could against the bench grinder and left it there. There was no reason anybody would ever do that. That's just over the top stupid. But you can see that there's no material removal here. There's no dip in it. It certainly did remove I guess maybe the surface. I don't know. It left a little bit rougher finish right there. But that's just really going over the top. So the rest of it's fine. We'll polish that up. I think it'll completely go away. So. All right, we'll move over to the polisher and hopefully get a view. I've got two different polishing wheels on here just for the two different colors of polish, or three if I go that far. I can dress the wheels in between and switch compounds. We'll start over here on the Navy. If you haven't used a benchtop polisher before, hopefully we get through this. This is a dressing wheel for it. And a lot of dust coming off of there. Get started because the battery on the camera is dying. So with some polishing compound, the coarse or navy polishing compound to start with. Leather gloves, eye protection, still a good idea. You do want to be unidirectional with your wire wheel as much as you can, but more importantly with your polishing. You don't want to polish in multiple directions because it will start to leave a pattern. So keep it all in one direction. We'll move up to the red. Rouge over here. Hopefully you can still see. Bring it in a little bit closer if I can. And I'll try to keep my body out of the way. Okay. The streaks are just polishing compound left on there right now, but we're getting there. I'm moving really fast for this video. We'll jump up to the white real quick. It won't be as good a finish as you can get, but it'll be good enough for demonstration purposes. So there you go. This finish could have been improved by, removing the pitting up here a little bit. If I'd really wanted to, I might have sanded that lightly to take the pitting out, but it's pretty minimal on this. But if yours is badly pitted, you can improve the metal before you polish. It's not fast. This is not a fast process. Imagine doing a number 8 hand plane. You're going to polish for a few hours. So now let's see what we can do about this. See if this will actually remove the spot where I ground the living daylights out of it with a wire wheel. Probably shouldn't say grind with a wire wheel. Where I wire wheeled it to death. So there's still just a little bit of evidence left of my extreme abuse of a wire wheel. A Scotch-Brite pad would probably smooth that out. And now I've got fingerprints on the polished at the bottom. There we go. So if you want to polish to this level, yeah, if there's some equipment investment, don't ignore the safety equipment. I'm not going to touch that with my hand. You can probably boil water on it right now. No, it won't take the temper out of it or do anything like that. You're not heating it up to 400 degrees. The gloves would be smoking. And it takes a higher temperature than that to really affect cast iron. So, but it gets upwards of probably 270, 280, and it won't cool off right away. So don't pick it up if you set it down like I've done. Anyways, if you want shiny cast iron, it's as simple as that.